Pleasant greetings and welcome to the Street User channel. In this video, Pleasant greetings and welcome to the Street User channel. In this video, as well as exploring part of the Peak District, I'm taking a brief look at Velo Viewer. Velo Viewer is a website that provides detailed analysis for cyclists by connecting to your Strava account and using its data. It offers in-depth statistics, charts and heat maps, and this is a bit I really like, an Explorer feature that scores you based on how much new territory you've covered. I'm not too interested in the performance stuff, so I'm sharing a really casual look at the Explorer aspect of Velo Viewer today, just before we head off into the Peak District. Basically, Velo Viewer breaks down the world into 1 kilometre square tiles, and you collect those tiles by passing through them on rides. How it works is, you record a ride using your Strava account, and that collects GPS data. Then, you grant Velo Viewer access to your Strava account, and it'll automatically transpose your routes onto the Velo Viewer map using the GPS data. And where your routes enter the boundary of the 1 kilometre squares, you'll collect that tile. This is me on the train on my way to start a planned ride in the Peak District to collect a few tiles. It's the day after named Storm Winkleman, so it should be interesting. But first, let's take a very brief look at Velo Viewer. On the Summary tab, you're presented with info such as activity stats and exploration score. There's much more to it, but I'm not touching on anything extra today. I use this tool as a general motivation to explore new areas. The Explorer score is a little more sophisticated than I allude to, but that's a story for another day perhaps. This is what the tiles look like on a map. The red shaded sections are tiles I've collected, and the non-shaded parts are bits I still need to pick up. These are the tiles I'm aiming for today. The planned route begins at a place called Burbage, 10 minutes out of Buxton. Buxton is the last stop on this train. I've planned part of the route along some footpaths, but considering this is the day after a named Storm Winkleman and it's not great conditions, I don't anticipate seeing many people out today.
The ultimate clunge magnet.
We head to Burbage now, which is a short ride from here, and it takes us to the start of the actual planned route to collect our tiles. From the air, the route looks something a bit like this. As you can see, we've got a good mix of terrain and track surfaces, so the ride should be varied, enjoyable and challenging in parts, especially considering the ground conditions from last night's storm alongside the shape of today's weather. If I can figure out the technical bits, I'll try and leave a link somewhere in the description for the GPX file, so you can load the route should you choose. I will add that this route is probably for experienced hikers only. Yes, I know the route isn't in the wilderness, but it's still quite remote, so unless you're an experienced hiker, please beware. The route goes over Shining Tor, which is the highest hill in the county of Cheshire, a county known for being relatively flat. It passes through cloths, along part of a disused railway, through a quarry, and next to a reservoir. So that's a quick preview of the route over with. Let's get the actual ride underway. This is the beginning of the planned route, though not really getting into the route proper yet, and straight away I pick up on some bad vibes from the locals. You know when you can just kind of pick it up in the air? And this lady proved me right. I knew before she even opened her trap that she was going to have something to say. I don't normally stop for much when I'm cycling up a hill, but my curiosity got the best of me on this occasion. Anyway, I held my tongue and I have a little rant to camera shortly afterwards. Let's see what she had to say. I will be, yeah. There's about, I think there's about 400 metres of footpath and then there's a track on the other side, isn't there?
Have you been before?
Nope.
Right. It's just, we turn a blind eye to cyclists coming up and going into the Bloke Valley.
Well, because I think there's about 400, 500, half a kilometre or something, and then there's a track after the footpath, so...
Yeah, you can see where there's a little gap in the wall?
Yeah.
Just after that tree, you'll just have to, I don't know, push your bike up there.
Yeah.
When you get up to the top, I think it'll become clear.
That's it, yeah. It's kind of...
You're going to get muddy though.
Oh, it's going to be fun, yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah, I kind of... the storm last night as well, so it should be really fun.
Take care.
Alright, thank you. Is this genuine concern? Or is she just a Nazi sapling? It probably doesn't come through on the camera, but in person, I sense she would have attempted to tell me that I wasn't allowed to ride this way if I hadn't have set the affirmative tone early on in the exchange, like I did. The two standout tells to me are, 1, let's call it testing the water. This isn't a bridle path. No love, it's a road. And 2, we turn a blind eye to cyclists. This is her playing a Jedi mind trick on herself after her water tester didn't land the way she hoped it would. It's a way of saying to herself, he's only going up there because I'm allowing it. Kidding herself, basically. So she doesn't crumble into a pile of dust. What do you reckon? Am I overthinking it? And consider this. Who stops a cyclist riding up a hill to try and tell them where they can and can't go? Right, you left. Yeah, it should be fun. Off we go. It's in a blind eye, did it?
In 250 meters, turn left, then keep right.
Good of them. It's to turn a blind eye. Not that I'd be bothered if he was watching me. And not turn a blind eye. Make a difference. Well, considering the storm wind coming, arrived last night, this
Turn slightly right, then in 150 meters, turn slightly
doesn't
left.
look too bad, but I will be testing it out. Ooh, yeah, look at that, that's fine, let's roll right through that. We'll roll right through that. Ooh, ahoo! Let's check the routing. Yeah, so we go straight down into the valley, hug the river, and go from there. Down into the valley, up the river on the east. We're getting into the ride proper now, and this is my first real world overview of the route ahead. It's at this point I willfully throw my fate to the gods. And why do I say that? Well, when I was sat on the train I realised I didn't have a bike pump packed. I've got a puncture kit and a multi-tool but no pump. I've also brought 2 bottles, but one of them I must have forgotten to fill, so I've got one 500ml bottle of water. Let's see how I get on, shall we? Experienced bikers only, eh? And puncture. No, I'm joking. Got you there.
Turn slightly left, then in 40 meters, turn right.
I'm doing quite well up to this point. I'm sticking to the planned route along the sloppy surface and I still have dry feet. In a minute though, I'll come across this gravelly looking surface, which is quite appealing to be honest, but it doesn't follow the planned route, which carries on for quite a way into a clough and more sloppy stuff, but definitely picks up the tiles I'm aiming for. Now, I will say I did spot this gravel track from my aerial images during the planning stage of this ride, but it wasn't marked as a path, track or road, and at this point in time I can't be sure if it picks up the tiles. It's part of an old disused railway route. So I'll weigh things up here. I considered it. I can't quite remember if the gravel track passed through the tiles, but I had an inkling that it did. And the fact that I didn't have a pump was also on my mind, and this was enough for me to lose my appetite for sticking to this part of the planned route, and therefore I decided to circumvent the slop and ride the gravel, which rejoins the planned route a bit further along. And after all, I still had the chance to get the tiles, and if I did miss one, then I had the perfect excuse to return and annoy the locals at a later date. Woohoo, lateral.
Turn right, then in 60 meters, turn slightly left.
Oh, nice bit of gravel.
Turn slightly left.
Be looking behind me, must be an old railway line, bridge, tunnel. Not a bridge, a tunnel. Good little campsite, sheltered. Locals probably wouldn't like you camping there though, you know what they're like. Local spot for local people. Right, so I can continue along this gravel path, I think, and risk missing a tile, or I can go this way, which is going to be woohoo. Let's just have a look at my map.
About 8 miles time, 7
If you like what you've seen so far, then now's a good time to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll be releasing one video per week. My next video will be an urban environment where I explore Manchester and Salford. So if you're interested in that, then definitely subscribe so you don't miss out. Videos will go out on a Friday. Also, if you would like to nominate a location to be featured, then leave that in the comments. Thank you for watching up to this point and stay tuned to see if I get stranded with a puncture. Or just scrub through with the handle. If you squint, you might be able to see in the distance, just inside my left arm, the meandering path which we would be on had we strictly adhered to the original planned route. I'm pretty pleased with my decision to take it easy on this flat bit of gravel surface, as there's no need to push things too hard for the sake of a tile collection. Always remember, it's just a tool to encourage you to explore new territory. It's not imperative you collect them all. Nothing bad happens if you don't. Riding along here, you can't help but notice that this, in its day, was probably quite a pleasant train journey through the hills, especially if it was a passenger line. So for that reason alone, a diversion was worth taking. The track we're currently on eventually meets up to the original planned route just on the other side of this hill. deep in the clough. And with this being social media, maybe there's a historian watching that can leave a bit of info in the comments on this old train line. To anybody considering doing this route, I would definitely recommend taking the gravel way. It makes for pleasant riding for a good couple of miles with a nice downhill bit, and even when the gravel ends, there's a nice enough track to take you up the next descent. That's what we're going up.
Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, I might grab a bat, I don't know. My wrath, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll bleed on your face to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you go wish you would shut the fuck up real bad. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. I don't fucking take smoke, I'ma poke a hole through you, choking's overdue. Come at me and you won't get any older, dude. Crack your holder too. Heating up inside of me, blood so violently. Thanks for trying me. Now it's finally time to see how this rivalry becomes a dynasty. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll bleed on your face to make you go take it back.
Right, we're on the next little ascent now, and as you can see, it's a very nice surface. We're going about halfway up here, and then we're following the contour of the hill around. Then it's a bridge over to the next hill where there's even more nice track, and where we hug the contour again right around to the other side of the hill. And after that, there's a bit of proper hiking. And this is a tip I'd like to share. When you're planning these routes, some of the best and nicest riding, walking and general exploration is found on the contours, not on the peaks or in the valleys. And this is a good general rule of thumb that you can use when planning routes, and it's especially applicable to these kind of hiking routes, if that's your thing. I don't want this video to be much longer now, so I'll whiz through the remainder of the ride, but do let me know if there are any people interested in the long versions of these videos, which would basically be an upload of every minute of the ride. So let me know, and if there's enough interest, I'll start uploading them to accompany these shorter formats. And to be honest, even though they're longer, they're much easier to do because they require virtually no editing. Should give people a good idea of what's ahead of them if they want to do any of the planned routes. But before we whiz through the rest of the ride, I have a last vent about that woman. It must have been bubbling away in the back of my mind before finally coming out at this point. So, it's not a bridle way, it is a public footpath, but you can see from satellite images that there's plenty of space for everyone here. I was thinking about that woman earlier. We turn a blind eye to cyclists, like they hold some kind of authority. to stop you from coming this way, you should choose to do so anyway. So, just thinking about that strange delusion people have.
Turn slightly left.
We're going to do a hop, skip and a jump now and just kind of motor through a bit of footage. Just trying to prevent this video from being too long, to be honest with you. So there's just a change in pace here, just give you an illustration of the type of terrain that you might encounter. And yeah, just stay tuned for the drama a bit later on. Still have dry feet so far. I've only got my Clarks on. No offence, Clarks. Pretty good. Send me free shit. Right, Brian's got to go overhead. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, there we go. Getting better. It's a bit slippery here. That's not a river, that's the way. A funny old tree. Whoa, stinky. Woohoo! Sinky.
Make a U-turn, then in 80 meters, turn slightly right.
We're well on our way now and approximately into the final third of the ride. Heading up the side of Shining Tor, this particular part goes through an old quarry, and as we ascend this very straight and quite steep path we enter into some low cloud and wind. Unfortunately, this significantly lowered the temperature and caused sporadic malfunctioning of my action camera, which just seemed to pick up audio at only certain points from now on. When that did happen, it looked like this, and it's probably a good job to be honest, otherwise this video would have ended up being pretty lengthy. However, the action cam did come back to life sporadically and capture at least some of the changing weather, as you can see in here. And as I said, the low cloud and wind impacted visibility and temperature, hence the gloves coming out and the technical issues on the camera. This shot was taken shortly before the inevitable happened. Can you guess what that inevitability might be? You got it in one. It actually is what you think it is. Yep, indeed. A puncture in the front tyre. As I'm riding here, I'm coming to terms with the reality of it, while simultaneously offering a deal to the gods for some kind of fix. I even went as far as offering karma debt to them. This puncture occurs a couple of 100 metres before the trig point, which is where I'll stop and assess my options for the nearest bike shop, or the long walk of shame home. This is the trig point, and carved into the bench are some words about how spectacular the view is from here, and as you can see the camera picks that up beautifully despite ongoing technical issues. And anyway, it's time to proceed with my walk of shame. It's approximately an hour until I'm off the hillside, which only leads to a remote location on a lane, and from there it's about 2.5 hours walk to the nearest bike shop and roughly 3 hours home. However, on the map I spot a car park just 5 minutes out of my way. I'll head there and see if anybody is parked up, dogging or anything. I arrive and there's 4 empty cars parked up, and I'm just about to do my long walk of shame when in the distance I spot headlights. Surely they can only be heading for here. When they pull in and park, I approach the occupants in my friendliest manner with my friendliest wave. Shortly afterwards they're pulling a track pump from their boot and I'm repairing my puncture with white knuckles and knocking knees. My camera only caught a brief moment of the repairs. 10 minutes later and I'm doing an epic descent down these lanes for about 10 minutes, but unfortunately you don't get to see that because of the camera issues. However, you can always grab your bike and head out for your own explorations. Have a beautiful time and thanks for watching.